Welcome back, everyone. We've kind of skimmed the surface of some of this stuff before, laying some groundwork.
Yeah, for sure.
But today, we're going deep,
Deep dive.
like Mariana Trench, deep into understanding our bodies, figuring out boundaries, which can be tricky sometimes, and really getting a solid grasp on what sex education should actually be.
Absolutely. If those earlier chats were like dipping our toes in, this time we're going for a full-on swim.
Full immersion.
The whole thing. We really want to clear up the confusion around all those topics people find embarrassing or just never learned about, the stuff that gets swept under the rug.
Totally. And to do that, we're going to focus on the things you've told us matter most, like what's the deal with erections and discharge? What is puberty all about? And why does it feel so intensely personal? How do pronouns work and why are they important? Plus, we're going way past the basic yes and no of consent to get into what it really means.
It's more complex than it seems at first.
So much more. And super importantly, we'll talk about what to do when someone wants something you're just not okay with. So first things first, let's talk about our bodies, these amazing machines we live in.
It's kind of wild how many grown-ups still have basic questions about their own anatomy. It's not like you failed school or anything, but really understanding your body can be so empowering.
It really is. Like, when you were younger, did you actually get the whole vulva versus vagina thing?
Oh, for sure not.
I remember it all just being kind of a vague area for me and definitely not knowing the specifics.
That's super common. Lots of people get them mixed up. Just to clarify, the vulva is all the outside parts, the labia, clitoris, the openings of the urethra, and the vagina. And the vagina itself is that internal muscular canal.
Gotcha. And then there's the clitoris, which honestly sometimes feels like it gets a tiny mention in anatomy class, even though it's pretty crucial when it comes to pleasure.
The main thing about the clitoris is just that. Pleasure. It's packed with nerve endings, something like 8,000. It's super sensitive.
Wow, 8,000?
Knowing that can really change how you think about your body and your experiences, for sure.
It can. And for folks with testicles, those are the sperm factories. The penis itself might seem pretty straightforward, but the skin there, it's loaded with nerve endings too. So sensation is a big deal there as well.
Right. And zooming out a little, it's important to remember everyone, no matter what their anatomy is, has nipples, an anus, and a brain.
The big three?
And that brain, huge role in how we experience sexual response. It's not just about individual body parts, it's the whole system.
It's all connected. The takeaway here is really about getting to know your own body, what makes it tick, getting comfortable with it, understanding the parts and what they do. There's nothing weird or shameful about that at all. In fact, it's the best foundation you can have for everything else we're going to talk about. Speaking of things that can feel like a mystery, let's talk about puberty.
Ah, puberty. When everything changes. What's interesting is how different it is for everyone. It's not like this one-size-fits-all process that everyone goes through in the exact same way.
Right. Like some of my friends were growing facial hair overnight while I was waiting for even one little whisker to show up.
Huh.
And when periods started, that was all over the map too.
Yeah, exactly. It can make you feel like you're on some totally different planet from everyone else.
For sure.
And that's completely normal. Puberty happens on its own schedule for each person. But there are some common changes that many people experience.
Oh yeah, the classics.
The fun stuff.
Acne, which feels like your skin suddenly declared war on you.
Yep.
Discharge, which can be confusing, even scary if you don't know what's going on. And then those always inconvenient, unexpected erections.
Those definitely lead to some awkward moments, for sure. And let's not forget about the body odor situation changing.
Oh, yeah.
All those emotional swings that feel like a roller coaster, and then suddenly shooting up 6 inches and feeling like a total klutz.
It's so much to handle. That's why it's really important to know that if something feels off, like seriously concerning constant pain, a weird change that seems out of nowhere, talk to someone about it. A trusted adult, a doctor, a nurse practitioner. Don't be shy about getting help.
That brings up a really important point about where we get our information these days. The internet can be helpful, but it's key to be careful and not just take everything you read online as gospel, especially when it comes to health. Stick with reliable sources. Talk to qualified people.
Great advice. Now let's shift gears to something super important for having healthy relationships. Boundaries.
Ah, boundaries. We hear that word all the time, but what does it actually mean in real life? How do we figure out what our boundaries are?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good, but how do you actually do it?
The core idea is that a boundary is a limit you set for yourself about what you're comfortable with, physically, emotionally, socially, and sexually. The cool thing is, these boundaries aren't set in stone. They're personal, and can change as you learn more about yourself and what you need.
They can evolve.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're allowed to adjust them as you go. Can you give some examples of what those boundaries might look like in everyday life?
Sure, a physical boundary could be something like, I don't like hugging everyone I meet, or please don't touch my hair. An emotional one might be needing some alone time after being around a lot of people, or saying, I don't want to talk about this right now. Socially, it could be like, I'm not checking work emails after 7 p.m. And sexually, it's about being really clear about what you're okay with and what you're not okay with, which includes needing a clear yes before anything physical happens.
Right. Consent is crucial. And it's so important to remember that setting those boundaries isn't rude or bitchy or anything. It's a healthy way to communicate what you need.
Absolutely. It's about respect.
Exactly. Being upfront about your boundaries can actually make your relationship stronger and healthier because everyone knows what's up. And remember, it goes both ways. We have to respect the boundaries other people set for themselves.
It's a two-way street. And this is a big one. If someone ignores your no, any yes they give means nothing. Respecting boundaries is the basis for any good interaction.
Couldn't agree more.
So let's talk about consent. We're calling this consent 2.0 because hopefully we're past the yes means yes, no means no basics. It's more complicated than that.
Way more. We're talking about nuance here.
Exactly. So what are some of the things that make up this more sophisticated view of consent?
The big thing to remember is that consent isn't a one-time deal. It's an ongoing process. Just because someone said yes once doesn't mean that consent lasts forever. It needs to be present throughout the whole interaction.
It's not a blanket permission slip.
Nope. And it has to be clear. Not staying silent or not pushing someone away doesn't equal a yes.
That's a huge misconception.
It is. Silence is not consent. Consent needs to be clear and ideally verbal. And here's another important point. Someone can't truly consent if they're really drunk or high to the point they can't make a good decision.
They need to be able to understand what's happening.
Exactly. And the idea of enthusiastic consent is really important. It's not just the absence of a no, but a definite hell yes, real willingness and excitement.
It should feel good, not pressured.
100%. It should be a freely given agreement, not something you're talked into or feel obligated to do. And super important, consent can be revoked at any point. Someone can change their mind even if things have already started, and that decision needs to be respected, no questions asked.
It doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes in or 5 seconds in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No means no.
So really, it's about constantly checking in, making sure everyone involved is comfortable, actually wants to be doing what they're doing, and feels empowered to say no at any time without any kind of guilt trip or drama.
That's exactly it. If there's any hesitation, any discomfort, or someone isn't clearly and enthusiastically engaged, everything needs to stop. Right then and there. No pressure, no coercion, no assumptions allowed. Now, let's talk about something that's been missing from a lot of sex education. Respecting all bodies and identities.
This is so important. For way too long, conversations about sex and relationships have been really limited, leaving out LGBTQ plus people, people with disabilities, people in larger bodies, and non-binary folks.
Everyone deserves to feel seen and represented and to have their experiences respected when we talk about this stuff. It's not just for certain people.
Right, it's for everyone.
Everyone. So what does it actually mean to be inclusive and respectful? It means actively working to make it normal to talk about all gender identities and pronouns. If someone tells you their pronouns, using them is basic respect and kindness. It means acknowledging and validating all sexual orientations, all the beautiful variety of body types, neurodivergent experiences, and the fact that people experience different levels of sexual desire.
It means understanding that everyone is different.
Absolutely. And that's okay. It comes down to recognizing that every person is worthy of respect, and our experiences with our bodies and identities are super diverse and all valid. Offering support to people figuring out their gender or sexual orientation is another way to show respect. It's free, and it can make a huge difference.
A huge difference. Now let's get to some of the questions you've sent us. This is the real stuff, the things people are actually thinking about and dealing with.
The unfiltered truth.
Exactly. Our first question is, I'm 17 and I've never kissed anyone. Is that weird?
Not at all. There's no right time for these things. Everyone goes at their own pace when it comes to romance and sex.
Your timeline is your own.
Exactly. If anything, maybe you're just being thoughtful, waiting for a connection that feels right, but there's nothing strange about that. Next question. My boyfriend wants to have sex, but I don't feel ready.
That's a tough one.
In that situation, your feelings are the most important. You have the right to say no, always. A good partner will respect that, No pressure or guilt trips.
If someone doesn't respect your no, that's a huge red flag. Your no is a complete sentence. Last question. How do I deal with body insecurities during intimate moments?
Oh, this is so common. It's important to be kind to yourself. Almost everyone has insecurities about their body to some extent. You're not less worthy as a person just because you don't look like some perfect image. Those don't even exist.
Absolutely. And I'd add that anyone who makes you feel bad about your body during an intimate moment doesn't deserve to be there. Your body is your own, and it's perfect as it is.
Well said. It all comes back to self-respect and finding partners who are respectful and appreciate you for who you are.
So, wrapping things up, we covered a lot. Understanding our bodies, setting and respecting boundaries, the real deal with consent, and why it's so important to respect all bodies and
It
identities.
was a lot.
It was. But remember, learning about this stuff is a journey. It's okay not to have all the answers right now. Asking questions is how you learn.
Curiosity is key.
Totally. And this is the most important thing. You are not weird for having questions or for doing things on your own timeline. You are not broken because you don't fit into some outdated idea of normal. And you are not alone in figuring this stuff out.
You're in good company.
Next time, we're tackling relationships. We'll talk about ghosting, the whole what are we dance, and what to do when you start having feelings for someone.
It's getting good.
Until then, stay curious, be kind to yourselves and each other, and most importantly, stay true to who you are.
This has been The Deep Dive.
And I'm your host. We'll catch you next time.
Here's something to think about. Beyond just sex, how can we make enthusiastic consent the norm in all our interactions? Like how do we make sure there's clear communication and respect in everything we do?